Welcome, my dear students, to another video lecture. This lecture is for sixth semester Diploma in Engineering Mechanical Production RSC in Plastic. The course is BME 601 and the course title is Industrial Management and Entrepreneurship Development. Up till now, in the previous videos, we have finished 2 units of this course. Today, we'll be starting with the third unit. As I mentioned earlier, we have already finished 2 units. Today we'll be starting with the third unit. And the third unit comprises of 2 components. The first component is related with the human resource management. Today we will be discussing that. And the next component is labor industrial laws that we will be discussing in another video. So if we talk about human resource management, human resource management is the strategic approach to the effective management of people in a company or organization such that they can help their business gain a competitive advantage. It is designed to maximize the employee's performance in service of an employer's strategic objectives. So it has for example, 2 main objectives, one from employer side and other one from employees side. So right from hiring the correct people to getting maximum efficiency, it is all under human resource management. We'll discuss all these features in detail in the coming slides. So before that, first we need to know what are the objectives of human resource management or HRM. We can classify the objectives into 4 groups: societal objectives, organizational objectives, functional objectives, and personal objectives. Societal objectives support functions like legal compliance, both for the employees and for the employer, plus the company as a whole. How can a company benefit the society? It is also under human resource management. And how is the relationship between the union and the management, and or the workers and or the employees and the employers? So to make this relationship cordial, it is the function of a human resource management department of a company. If we talk about organizational objectives, the supporting functions are human resource planning, how you will hire them, how you will train them, how you will place them, and how you will promote them. All these functions are under organizational objectives. As we have already talked, employees relationships. What are the relationship between among the employees also? Is there any discord, or there should be harmony amongst the employers? There should be no what can we say, ill feeling among the employees for the sake of incentives or salary discrepancy or any other discrepancy. So employees relationship also comes under the functions of HRM. Training and development. If an employee is weak, or if you need some employers to get some training on higher technology, so it is the function of HRM to provide it. Performance appraisal and placement are also organizational objectives of HRM. So another one is functional objective. Functional objective, we have already discussed. Performance appraisal, if somebody is performing better than other, how will you give some incentives or bonus, or how will you motivate employers to do better, or in order to give performance appraisals. If the performance is good, you give them some appraisal, and if it is not good, then there should be some mechanism to either train them to do better, or in the end you can punish them or fine them. Next one is personal objectives, and the supporting functions are compensations if there is an accident or if there is some untoward incidents with the worker. So what compensation the company will give to the employer is also the objective of HRM. Training and development, performance appraisal, and placement we have already discussed. So these are the main objectives. In a nutshell, we can say it is one of the most important department of any organization, because human resource management is one of the most complex thing to maintain and to perform. So in order to achieve all these objectives, what HRM do, they have certain strategies. So the next topic is staff development, training strategies and methods. So in this section, we will discuss about the various strategies or methods that HRM uses to achieve the objectives that we have discussed. So if we look at the figure, we can classify these training strategies and methods into two groups. First one is on the job training. It is the training or methods which we can give to the employers while they are doing their job. Another one is off the job training. In this method, while the workers are not on the practical, they are not performing practically on the job, they can be trained also. So we will discuss all these methods in detail. So just to recap, the on the job training consists of coaching, mentoring, job rotation, job instructional trainings, apprenticeship. And off the job training, they consist of lectures and conferences, simulation exercises. It consists of management games, case studies, role playing. Then there is sensitivity training and transitional analysis. So we'll discuss them one by one. On the job training methods, under these methods, new and inexperienced employees learn through observing peers or managers performing the job and trying to imitate their behavior. On the job training, the main focus is new and inexperienced employers. They watch and observe their seniors, their managers, and their colleagues, how they perform their job, and they try to imitate or try to duplicate that behavior. These methods do not cost much. You don't need much infrastructure or any expensive tool to train it, and are less disrupted, and it doesn't disrupt the normal functioning of anyone, neither the employee, nor employer, nor senior manager, or anyone. As the employees are always on the job, training is given on the same machine and experience would be already approved standards. So while they are working, while a senior is working, so he's actually performing on some job. So he is working on a standard procedures. So the only thing the inexperienced or the new employee has to do, he has to observe him and he has to duplicate or imitate him. So there are many methods of on-the-job training. The first one is coaching. Coaching is one-to-one training. There is one expert or one senior for every new or inexperienced employer. It helps in quickly identify a weak area when there is one-to-one interaction between an expert and a new trainee. So the expert very quickly identifies the weak areas of the training and try to focus on him. It's just like there is a coach for a batsman. So expert batsman, he coaches a new or upcoming player, so he can figure out very quickly what are the weak points of that player and what are the strong points of that player. It also offers a benefit of transferring theory learning to practice. So the young or the inexperienced employer already has theoretical knowledge. Only thing he has to do, he has to perform that theory into practical. But the biggest problem is that it perpetrates the existing practices and styles. So one of the drawbacks of this method is the expert will only, most of the time, will only teach the method that he only knows. He won't be encouraging any new or any revolutionary idea. Like for example, in India, most of the scooter mechanics are trained only through this method. So there is a ustad who teaches a new kid, and he only teaches the thing that he knows. So he won't allow that small kid or the inexperienced worker to try and experiment something new. So the next method is mentoring. The focus of this training is to develop attitude. This is for this method is not for inexperienced or new workers. Rather, it is for the people who are working for some time. So they know all the technical things. They know the basics. But what in this method experts do? He try to develop his attitude. For example, an Indian team, all the players are very good technically. They have played a lot of cricket, but there is a mentor on top of them. So what the mentor does, he just develops the attitude. The third one is job rotation. In this process of training, employees are trained by rotating them through a series of related jobs. So what it in this method, what it is done is that a trainee is given various jobs and he's rotated through that jobs. For example, for 1 week he will be doing the job A, for second week he will be doing job B, and for third week he will be doing job C. So the advantage of this method is rotation does not make the person well acquainted with the different jobs. So the good point is after 3 weeks the worker will be knowing all the three jobs A, B and C, and also it elevates the boredom. So if he is doing the same job for the all the 3 weeks, so he will get bored, and that causes some quality problems. But if he's doing different jobs, so it removes the boredom of uh, mundane work or repetitive work. And also it allows to develop rapport with different people. So he's performing different jobs, so he's interacting with different people, so he will be developing rapport with number of people. Next method is job instructional technique. It is step by step or training method in which a suitable trainer prepares a training with a overview of a job, its purpose and the results desired, demonstrates the task or the skill to the trainee, allows the trainee to show the demonstration of his own, and follow up to provide feedback and help. The trainees are presented the learning material in written or by learning machines through a series called frames. So it is basically step by step method. Every method is written and documented, it's given to the trainer, and in this way a new trainer is trained. Another method is apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is a system of training a new generation of practitioners for a skill. This method of training is in vogue of those trades, crafts and technical fields in which a long period of training of gaining proficiency. Basically, this is a method which is given to um, new generation practitioners and which requires a long period. For example, you must have heard that there is a lot of apprentice working under a lawyer, because to learn and to become a master of law of a country, it requires a long period of time. Or for example, there are a lot of apprentice under a chef, because there's a large variety of food can be cooked. It needs a time, it needs a lot of time. So for these trades and crafts, this method is used. Then the second thing, second classification was off-the-job training. Off-the-job training methods are conducted in separate from the job environment. In this method, the trainee or inexperienced worker is not in the job environment. Study material is supplied. There is a full concentration on learning rather than performing. Basically, he learns the fundamentals and the theoretical knowledge of the subject. The most famous of the job training method is lectures and conferences. Lectures and conferences are the traditional and direct method of instruction. Every training program starts with a lecture and conference. It's a verbal presentation for a large audience like we are having now. There is a large audience and we are giving verbal presentation. Then there is simulation exercises. Simulation is creating artificial environment exactly similar to the actual situation. So how can we provide artificial environment? We have certain strategies, like number one is management games, in which these games are designed to help to gain thinking habit, analytical and logical and reasoning capabilities, importance of teamwork and time management. For example, one of the most popular management game is you give certain rupees or certain amount of money to a group of 3 or 4 people, and you give them instruction that you have 3,000 rupees and you have to come after a week and you have to earn a profit out of this money. You can't do any illegal or unethical work. So what the group will do, he will think, he will have a logical and reasoning exercise going on, and it will create a lot of innovative ideas. Another one is case studies. In that, what is done is that complex examples of businesses are studied to give the insight and the context of the problem, illustrating main points. What are the main points? For example, a case study can be given to a new employers that why Kingfisher Airline failed, and they are supplied with a lot of research material and lot of study material. So they study all that and they prepare a case study. And what are the how can you suggest certain, for example, new ideas that could have been implemented, that could have been saved, that could have saved that airline. Another is role playing. In this, what it is done is different people play different roles. For example, if we are having example of Kingfisher, so what an expert will do, he will assign one person as a owner of Kingfisher, another one maybe as a government employee, government official, another one maybe a vendor to Kingfisher, and they will play a role and they will be given a situation, and how will they react in that situation. This is that method of training. Then there are sensitivity and transaction analysis. These methods you can study yourself, and the material is given on my web page. So in the next lecture, we will be studying labor industrial laws. I will be ending this lecture now, and I hope everything is clear. And if it is not, then you can contact me on my email on my mobile. Thanks for listening, and I will see you soon.